Partnership Ruang Guru, the Guru Iman Usman.
Hello. Um, I'd like to begin by sharing a fun fact about myself. So I like Harry Potter so much. Harry Potter made me speaking English. I wanted to read Harry Potter book way earlier than I did before. And I was just getting tired of waiting the translated version coming out of the market. So what I did was basically buying an English dictionary and buying the English version of the book and trying to translate every word on that book so that I understood what the story was. So learning English and speaking English led me to the places that I've never imagined before. Yeah, that's me. Alay banget. Speaking English led me to the places that I've never imagined before. Places like the World Economic Forum, the UN General Assembly in New York, and so many other places that I could only imagine before. It made me go to my dream college, and it has contributed in a way to my journey of funding Ruang Guru, which is now becoming the largest education platform in the country. It is now a place of, thank you, it is now a place of 400 of our employees to redesign path of education of 8 million of our students that we're serving now. So every time I tell about this story, there are always people who come to me and ask the questions. There are two questions. First, there are always people who ask me, kamu anak siapa? It seems like we live in a country where if we hear someone accomplish something extraordinary that is beyond the typical, people will assume that they come from a privileged background. And the second question that I got is, and typically it's coming from moms, is the question of, tipsnya apa sih? What is the secret recipe? How I can make my kid to become like you as well? The thing is, I'm not coming from a privileged family background. I have 5 sisters and no brother. I was born and grew up in Padang and just moved to Jakarta a few years ago. Yet I'm the first one in the family who graduated from college. So even education has never been a thing in my family. And for me, there's no secret recipe because what I've been doing is something that is obvious, something that is out of the public. But that is something that I'm going to talk about today. So practice. I believe that practice is the sole element, the mere element that makes me become who I am today. I'm a true believer of lifelong learning. So I believe that I need to practice every single day, even though I've graduated, but I still have to learn things that I want to acquire, I want to master. But the problem is, I understand that there's so many things that we want to practice, there's so many things that we want to acquire, and sometimes we don't have the luxury of hours or days for us to practice. I know that practice is important. I've proven in my Harry Potter case before that practice works and practice makes me able to basically achieve what I want. But then somehow when I try to apply practice in other skills like coding or designs or maybe math, it didn't work that well. So it begs the question, what is wrong with my practice? Is it because I was lazy enough that I didn't spend enough time to practice? Is it because like what Malcolm Gladwell said, basically, to be able to master something you need 10,000 hours of practice? But the thing is, I feel like it's not because I was lazy. I think I have spent enough hours, I spent enough days and even years to practice on something. And I've seen there's so many people who have spent even years or even decades to practice, but they're still not mastering something. So for me, it's not really a matter of the hours. And I've seen as well, there are people who might not have the luxury of 10,000 hours of practice, just let's say to prepare yourself to pitch to a client. That just doesn't make sense. So I believe that it's not about the quantity of hours that you have to spend, but it's merely about the quality of your practice. It is about how you practice, right? But the next question that I have is that, okay, I know quality of practice is so important, but then how do I get what I want? And that's what I encounter what we call deliberate practice. So what is deliberate practice? So take an example of public speaking, right? I used not to be the kind of the person who is confident to appear in public. I was so scared to actually deliver my presentations, deliver my speeches. I was so afraid of how people would judge and perceive what I'm going to deliver. So this whole thing the way you see me right now is something that is not natural because I'm just not natural speaker. But I practice. But the thing is, despite my practice on the old days, I remained mediocre. I didn't improve significantly. I still suck at public speaking. So I encountered what we call deliberate practice. So I changed the way I practice. There are several elements that we need to have when we think about practicing something. So we begin by the first one, which is goal, setting the objective. And we need to be very specific, very clear in what we want to achieve. I cannot just say that, okay, I want to improve my public speaking. I need to be more specific than that. So for instance, I want to say that I want to eliminate my verbal graffiti. Verbal graffiti is the unnecessary sounds or words that you make when you say something, like, it's familiar, right? And I'm still struggling even to this point to basically eliminate that verbal graffiti. But I know that it is important because the more sounds, the more unnecessary sounds that I make, people will be annoyed with how I speak. So I want to eliminate that. So that's my goal. The second one is to have the standard, to have the benchmark, to have, let's say, the people or the person that I look up to that might not have verbal graffiti. So let's say Barack Obama, so that's my benchmark. Okay, sounds high, but okay, that's my benchmark. But then, given the goals and given the standards that I have, I need to lay out then what kind of methodologies that I need to apply so that I can eliminate my verbal graffiti. So for instance, instead of actually focusing on other things in public speaking that also matter, by the way, but I try to focus on eliminating my verbal graffiti by, let's say, trying to complete sentences, let's say in 3 minutes, without actually making unnecessary sound, without making verbal graffiti. So just try 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, without making any unnecessary sound. And then, after having that methodology, I need also to have the feedback, which is the third point, feedback loop. And it's very often that we think that, yeah, we practice, let's say, we learn by doing. But the problem with learning by doing is that it's very often we do not have the feedback loop. We do not have the system that allows us to evaluate ourselves, both by ourselves and also by the other people's opinion. So we need constructive criticism. So for instance, I changed the way I practice from previously, let's say, just speaking in front of the mirror to recording how I speak, and then after that I watch my speech and see where I make mistakes. Because when I speak in front of the mirror, then I will think that I will basically focus more on how I look, how I made expressions, instead of actually seeing where I make mistakes and what should I improve. And then, it's not enough. We need to repeat, we need to do it consistently. We need to have the routine. It's better than, rather than I spend hours to practice on that, but it's better than actually spend maybe just 10 minutes, but do it every single day. So there is a routine, there is a flow that makes it become a habit, right? And I have to do it in a different way. Bring it to out of comfort. So basically maybe doing it in the classrooms, and then maybe in my rooms, or maybe in the workplace, in so many other places. And the thing is, it's not something that you just have to do it maybe in your spare time, but you can actually doing it, you can practicing it while you're actually presenting to your client or actually doing it at your work. But the point is, you need to be aware that you are in the moment of practice, that you are in a practice mode, so that you know that you need to make a sense of progress, you need to have an evaluation, you need to receive feedback and all that. So you need to be in the position where you know that you are practicing. So knowing these things, we try to apply those elements in how we design the experience for the kids and adults to learn through Ruang Guru. So we begin by designing the learning journey based on the user's aspirations. We ask the kids, hey, where do you want to go to school? What do you want to achieve in the future? And based on the goals and probably our information on where they are now, we design the journey-based learning by using different contents like videos, quiz, and formats in a way that we believe will help them to succeed more effectively and efficiently. So every learning journey from one person to another person might be different, right? And then, after we design the journey, we also make sure that they have a feedback loop. They have a system that allows them to evaluate themselves. Maybe through the reporting system that allows them to know where are their strengths, where are their weaknesses. And then they can basically have the content, consume the content that we believe will help them to succeed in a better way. Or maybe get a constructive feedback from the tutor, from the counselors, and so many other people that we believe will help them to succeed better. So these things, these methodologies can be applied to your line of work. So if you're now, let's say, a boss or a superior in your company, you might think about how you can probably help your subordinates or your coworkers or your colleagues to practice better. You might start to think about how your organizations practice, how your organizations learn. Have we applied this methodology? And maybe instead of actually thinking about what else do I need to practice, what skills do I need to acquire, what skills do I need to master to deliver the job, maybe we need to think about basically, have I practiced correctly? Have I basically improved all the things that I need to improve? Do we have the right goal? Do we have the right feedback? Do we have the methodology, the standard that we want to achieve? And have we been doing it consistently? Because after all, we need to shift our focus, not only just to think about what else we need to practice, but maybe the question that we need to ask ourselves is, have we practiced correctly? And do I need to improve my practice? Thank you.